Hello and welcome to another episode of Keeping Up With Conspicuous. Basically, me and Luce were trying to decide who was going to introduce this one, and it's meant to be Lucy's turn, but anyway, I'll do it. So welcome to a super special episode. It's episode 16 with joined by two lovely people from Hinterview, the video marketing platform that we use, and it's international, but yeah. So welcome Phoebe and Alicia to the podcast. Oh, Lucy's got her line. So yeah, today we're going to be talking about all things to do with our partnership with Hinterview, as well as a couple of other bits. I know, Luce, you wanted to mention a couple things about like the trend in recruitments and where videos are playing a huge part.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but I think to start with, it will be just nice to introduce yourselves, who you guys are, what your roles are, and just a brief overview of Hinterview as a platform.
Yeah.
You start?
Okay, sure, I'll go first. So my name's Alicia, I'm the marketing manager here at Hinterview. Wear a lot of hats, so thankfully I get to work with every single department. That includes Phoebe's, who's on the customer success team, but also sales, product. I'm kind of all over the board.
Yeah.
But Hinterview as a whole, end-to-end video recruitment platform, made for innovative recruiters, so just like you guys.
That's us.
Yeah, that's you. But we'll dive in, we'll talk a lot more about what Hinterview does exactly. Hand it to Phoebe.
So I am customer success manager at Hinterview, so really onboarding clients, just kind of teaching them about how to be on video. I used to be a recruiter myself and I did use the platform, so yeah, I got a lot of wins from it and kind of just want to spread that.
I like the fact that you used to use it,
Yeah.
because working with people that have used the platform is a massive bonus, because I feel like you get more value out of the service and things in general, whatever that is. So
And you're actually
that.
our customer success lady, aren't you?
Yes,
We've been
I am.
designated the lovely Phoebe. What a lucky
hence being
girl.
on our podcast.
But yeah, if you were to describe Hinterview to people that wouldn't even know what it is from outside the recruiting world, how would you describe what it is?
Yeah, sure. So, like I said, end-to-end video recruitment platform. Something that sets Hinterview apart is that we're the only video recruitment platform that's made for recruiters by recruiters. I think this is a really good example that our team is full of them. But it's really about rehumanizing the recruitment cycle. So you're using video at key touch points. There's like a people-centered automation that we're like really proud of, and then the high-touch support. So you have someone that is on call, pretty much 7-second response time. It's a person, it's not a bot, so we're always here to help you.
I think you've done this before. You're a natural.
Okay, so I guess that kind of answers the next point, but just more around how video technology is streamlining recruitment. Take that and run with it how you want, really, but yeah.
Great question. So I think that is one of our key points. It does streamline the recruitment process, but as you guys know, a recruitment process isn't one size fits all, and Hinterview is so flexible with that. And I think probably Phoebe could agree with this. Like, our most successful Hinterviewers are the people that apply Hinterview video really into every single step of their process. So they're getting really creative with it. They're not just using it for interviews or outreach. They also use it for training. They use it internally. They use it for testimonials. So it's in every single step.
We're going to learn something.
I think that's one of the benefits that we mentioned earlier as well, is you guys have used it yourselves, and like you're probably coming up with fresh ideas as it's evolving as well, which comes back onto us as well, which we've got lots to learn with it, so it'll be good.
Yeah, we're just scratching the surface.
Yeah, well, we literally learn things from clients. They'll come up with something and they'll be like, oh, we've tried this, and you'll be like, what? I didn't even never heard that before, didn't even think of it. So yeah, it's good.
That's so good, so good. Right, so let's talk about a hint. Well, I just had a little somewhere. Hinterview and how you sort of use it for candidates. How does this video sourcing come into candidates, and how is it beneficial?
So Hintro is like the video outreach tool, and you can use it with candidates and clients. So on the candidate side, it's really just, especially at the moment with how recruitment is it's very, people aren't really wanting to leave their jobs with everything going on. But I think it's about trying to stand out. And, you know, I think a lot of the time, a lot of recruiters will rely on like automation and just getting mass mails out and not really thinking about it from the candidate side and just being like, I've got a great opportunity for you. But it's like, but you don't even know me. How do you know it's a good opportunity? I had someone email me the other day, like, I've got this amazing job. And it's like something that I would have done maybe 6 years ago. And I think that's where with video is reaching out, you know, it's just going to be different from what they're receiving. These candidates, a lot of them are receiving like multiple messages a day. Having video, it's much more personal, and you know, it helps you humanise yourself. And
super important.
Yeah, and there's like, it's something crazy like 70% of candidates are passive, and out of those 60% are open to new opportunities. They just haven't been presented with the right one.
That's crazy. When you first told us that figure, I was like, sorry?
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, is because they're getting battered with like messages, they're just ignoring them. And if you have a different approach, like you don't just want to read out the job description, it's about, you know, introducing yourself, look, we could work together, I am working on this particular role, and then just, you know, having it, it's more personalised.
Yeah, definitely, I like that.
I think one thing that you guys have massively sort of changed our mindset on is most recruiters go into candidates saying, I've got this, like, you should have this, but like you don't actually think about what the candidate wants and approach it like with a candidate focus. And I think that mind shift that I've had, especially, I've been like, actually, hold up, it's not about me. Like, let's make it about you. So
the last 6 months I've like kept things so non-assumptive, and even like there's nothing now, but maybe in future. Like you know where things are at now, and maybe later down the line. So I guess that leads into the next point then on Hintro and the sort of client side of things. Now, what's the deal with that? And
so that for me, when I was recruiting, it was like, I love BD. It's sort of my it was always kind of my thing.
I don't know if I have the same.
I know, but the thing is with Hintro is it's the same thing. Is, you know, there's over 40,000 recruitment agencies in the UK. The main focus for recruiters is you need to be standing out. You need to, you know, be able to demonstrate your difference from the first point of contact. And Hintro, like video, does help you do that. And it, you know, it can increase response rate by up to like 58%.
Stats are crazy.
I know.
You've got them ingrained, haven't you? I do love ingrained.
And you know, with it just shows a little bit. I think a lot of recruiters, you know, it's bad to say, but people have got a little bit lazy, rely on automation and, you know, AI. It's really a time that you want to, you know, I am a human, I want to start a relationship with you. That sounds a bit creepy, but you know what I mean? It's just an opportunity. It's warmer. It's a warmer approach. You can prove that you've done your homework. You know, you've got the screen share option, stuff like that. It's just a different approach that not everyone's doing, and you know, you put a bit more effort into it rather than just flying off an email to multiple people in one hit.
That's so true. I think just touching on that, it might be worth sort of just highlighting the human to human, why that's important, just because you've sort of mentioned it there about AI, but I've seen it, well, you've seen it as well, like the responses we get with people saying how nice and refreshing it is to actually have someone like approach you like that and have a not a face-to-face conversation, but it feels like it, doesn't it? And like, you're right, so many people, AI I feel like is obviously coming miles and miles, and it's just going to get, I don't know whether it'll be better or worse for some people, but it's going to grow.
And even LinkedIn using it now is literally making it easier to do generic messages.
But I feel like it's the way that you utilise it. Like, because it can be so beneficial, but as you said, if people are just copying and pasting a message and sending it out.
There's definitely a place for it, but it's making, I can, you know, you can just see it's making people a little bit lazy. And I think, you know, the way that recruitment's gone from, it used to be you do a very tailored email, very structured email, introducing yourself and, you know, why you'll be beneficial, and then giving them, start with always a call and then sending an email like that. I think with video, it does take away from the fact that someone knows that you haven't just taken that from the internet. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly, you can't. Okay, so then let's move on. So we've done candidates, we've been over clients and how Hinterview and Hintro like help those areas. So what about this interview availability for us or anyone that uses the platform, I guess?
So I guess with that side of things, like how I used to see it is, you know, when you're talking to a client, you know, I guess on your side, you're reaching out to them. The question I used to always say is, how many times have you, you know, had an hour booked in for an interview, and within the first 3 minutes you're like, this person isn't the right fit, or you know, you can just tell that having, you know, introducing a candidate with two-way video, you know, even if it's just a 5-minute video along with the CV, that shows their soft skills, it shows their communication skills, and you know, it can give somebody an idea of, you know, do I want to have them come in? It just, I guess, shortlists it even more than just sending over a CV.
Yeah, we see culture fit being such an important. The candidate can have all the skills in the world, and I hope this doesn't sound as bad as I hopefully think it isn't, but can have all the experience, but if you're not the right culture fit, it kind of doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, so I guess.
And it goes the other way. If you've got someone who's got like, you know, not the best CV, or you know, maybe the wording on their CV isn't right fit for the business, you can get them on video talking about why they'd be such a great fit.
I like that. That's good.
And that gives them a chance to kind of really bring their CV to life.
So off the back of that, we've had a question just from someone in the comments here, just saying, as I understand, allowing candidates and applicants to have a video CV gives power back to them, which I agree with, gives them a chance to provide more context than what a generic CV would. Is there no concern around people being hired based on their attractiveness, as this has been an issue with traditional in-person interviews? Not putting down video tech as I'm an advocate for it, but was just wondering. What do you reckon?
That is a
It's
good
a tough one.
It is
really
a tough one, and it's a tough one to like mitigate.
Yeah.
So, but I think with video, it does provide consistency. There's, I mean, a very full record of how like the interviewing is going.
Yeah.
Was everyone treated very fairly? I think a really good way to review your process and find out, is there a point when something like that is happening.
For sure.
But you can turn it on its head as well for people, you know, who it might not be easy for them to get to interviews, or you know, like it's stuff like in that kind of instance as well. Is it gives them the opportunity to, like, you know, if they can't make it to an interview, they can just have the video.
Or I guess the right company for them won't approach it in the way that they've said there. Like, the right company for them won't care how they look, how attractive they are, anything like that. They will appreciate the effort.
But it's, you know, it is the same with someone coming in for an interview face to face. It's the exact same
Teams
thing. Yeah, it's the same thing, really.
If they're going to do it, they're going to do it, unfortunately, as a company. So I think, if it's just going to happen earlier. That's the only thing you can sort of say is, if it's going to happen, it will happen. However, you know, we know that some interview processes are really long at the moment, and it's not happening quickly, and we're trying to speed these processes up. And I think the main thing that you guys touched on was obviously like the culture fit and stuff. Having that as a first port from a recruiter, sending in like a video CV as such, or a few screening questions, it speeds up everything. Culture fit, you can see how they interact, communication skills. So attractiveness is hard, because I feel like if a company is going to base it on that, they're going to do it at some point, one way or another. And that's the type of company you want to work for.
We've seen a massive push with culture, diversity and inclusion, and companies we're in this modern space with recruitment now, so you hope that this is the right, you know, we do think it is the right time to utilise tools like this and videos in general. So
Absolutely. There's so much tech for it. We have so many resources. And I think within that kind of conversation, that's almost just scratching the surface. Like Phoebe was saying, like timing, geographic issues. You could have the best culture fit, and maybe they're so busy at their job that taking time to go to an interview, that they're not that interested. They're like super interested in, and you're super interested in them, but like, I can't take off an hour. I can't take a day of annual leave to go interview when I'm not 100%. But if you show them a video from a hiring manager and they're like, oh, this is a really good person, I think I want to work with them. And then vice versa. Then they know, actually, maybe taking this annual leave day is worth it.
Yeah, definitely.
I definitely agree. So I think you'll be itching for this one, Phoebe. Let's talk a little bit about like the data and analytics from Hinterview. So let's let's sort of see how far it's come as a video. What stats have really stood out to you guys in your time there that you think is so, you know, valuable and for other people to know?
Yeah, I guess just to showcase the success.
Yeah.
Okay. So like out of, I guess, some, what, like my personal clients, like.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess, well, we know that, you know, I guess it depends each client and the way that they're using it, but I had a client who was in like their second week of onboarding, and they managed to increase their response rate on in-mails by 40%.
That's good.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is, you know, especially with in-mails, because you win the credits back with the more responses
Yeah.
that you
Yeah.
get. Yeah, God, we've got so many different stats with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think our case studies, they're kind of like
Yeah.
non-stop rolling in with, we just did one with Focus, it's based in Australia, and like, we love seeing, I think, across different cultures, how everyone's facing a different market, everyone's facing different problems.
Yeah.
But since we get to speak to people from like all over, it's like the consistent message is video is working, no matter which way your market is swinging.
That's good.
Yeah.
So Focus in Australia, one story, I also spoke to someone out of Indiana, did a whole case study on them.
Oh, wow.
And it's like seeing like how far they are. They're not recruiting in the same industries. One is mostly startup tech, the other one is like healthcare. And they're both winning and are like thriving in their industries.
Oh, wow.
And they're like known as industry leaders, and they're both like in different positions as well. One's a really small team, one's quite big.
Yeah.
And they're both winning with video. So I think that's just like that consistent message is no matter where you're at, what industry, it's worth exploring.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've seen it from both ends, like where when I first started Hinterview, it was a couple of years ago now, it was very candidate centric, like everyone, you know, wanting to increase that response rate from candidates, but then now it's flipped, like everyone is focusing on like BD is like crazy, and it's it is nice seeing it from both angles, that, you know, the only time where we see, you know, people potentially, you know, when they come on and they're like, oh, you know, this isn't working, it's just because they haven't put it into their processes.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, video, it's amazing, but it's not a silver bullet. When people just assume it's like magic and they're going to start getting so much back from it, it's like, come on, like, you need to, and this is where, again, like, you need to be putting the work in. Like, you'd never just call someone once or send an email once and be like, oh my God, email doesn't work, you know. It's like that. It's still so new.
So true.
And I think, you know, one of where a lot of people do kind of, I guess, feel a bit like it doesn't work is if someone's uncomfortable being on video. But my kind of thing with that is think back like to your first ever time being on the phone in either recruitment or any sales role. You were nervous then, but now you wouldn't think twice about it.
Doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I think for us though, immediately, like me, I remember when we first sent videos to candidates and we were doing it, and we both were like, oh my God, our response rate, it probably did double from what we were usually getting, to be fair. And like that was just an instant sort of like win as such, because we didn't expect it to have such an impact straight away.
Yeah.
BD is a bit different, as you said. You've got to put the work in. It's not the silver bullet.
Yeah.
But I feel like with candidates, you got that success pretty instant, I feel.
Yeah, and I think with...
Well, for us anyway.
With like BD, like I used to send so many out and just be posting it on LinkedIn, and like I'd be at after like the, what was it, the expos, one of the expos, we went for like drinks after, and like this guy came over and he's like, you've been sending me videos, and it's just little things like that. It's like, yes,
they know your
you
face.
remember me. Yeah. Whereas if I was just hammering him with emails, he probably wouldn't have taken notice.
Yeah, he wouldn't have noticed your face. Yeah, definitely.
So just like my little thumbnail.
So that actually leads quite nicely into the personalisation aspects. We've covered a lot of like success and human to human and time save element, but personalisation, why is this good, and why are we seeing this as like a trend in recruitment? Why is it necessary?
Well, with personalization, probably you'll probably see this, is you do so much work on your side of doing the research and making sure this is the right client or even candidate for you, and then you're just going to send them a box standard message when they don't know, like, oh, I've been stalking your LinkedIn. Like, I know everything about you, and I've done all this research, and I've probably even talked about them in the office saying, like, I'm going to win them. And then you've just sent a basic message and like, no, I should have personalized this. I should have gone over and beyond. But we hear this with training of like the levels of personalization. So maybe it's full on, I know every single thing about you and I know we're going to be perfect. And that's more of just like a one-to-one or like a one-to-many. Everyone's kind of segmented. We know how important like segmentation is. How long it would take to make 50 calls versus 50 semi-personalized messages. You're recruiting in tech, something along these lines. You'll have something in common. You can kind of mess that.
On the flip side to that, just to put a spanner in the works, but like when I went to like a TRN event and they came at us in a way, and I think it is slightly different, but it does tie in. But they're like, people receiving this do not care whether you've seen in their bio that they have a dog called Wilfred, and you're like, oh my god, I've got a golden retriever called this, do something. So it's like, what level of personalisation are we going in at? Because it's like, what do they actually give a damn about?
People always say, we get told like different things all the time. Like, I change my new business message, it's probably on a weekly basis, even if it's just a one-liner in there, because I can't make up my mind whether I'm doing the right thing or not.
Yeah, but that's where trial and error comes in, because if you're going to be reaching out to multiple people, you know, everyone's got a different personality, everyone wants to be approached in a different way. The one thing is making sure that, especially in the first sort of 10 seconds of your video, that you just instantly tell them why, like you want to add value, or tell them why you're reaching out to them, rather than kind of making it about you. You want to, you know, get to the point of why you're reaching out to them, because these people are busy. A lot of these hiring managers, it might be 1% of their role to fill this position, so you need to just kind of get straight to the point with it, but then you know, adding a little bit of personalization in with that, but just kind of trying to get straight to the point early on.
I think it's more making it just like relevant. I remember when I done my personalization, I sort of, one of them was an end user in a construction side thing, and I saw that they had just started a huge new project that they were raving about on their page, and I was just like, oh, like, congratulations on starting this project, like, I hope it's going well, sort of thing, because it shows you've done your research. Like, I think it's more about the things that you do target about them, instead of maybe about their family, or that they've learned French or something. You know what I mean?
It's definitely trying out different things is the most important, and it makes it funner for you, because you're not just splurging out the same thing over and over again. It's just exhausting.
So I mean, then let's go into like future direction of Hinterview. Where are you guys? What's your future direction? What are your plans? Or
I love this question.
She does.
Because I love sitting in on like the products. Thankfully, I sit next to products, so I constantly hear all of these wild ideas, and believe me, they are wild. The ideas of what we could do with this go well into the pub conversations. We're so crazy now. But I think the main thing is that Hinterview is built by recruiters for recruiters, like we've said. And the way that we take all of your feedback so seriously, our Hinterviewers meet with our like director of product, whether you're happy with Hinterview, whether you're not happy with Hinterview, like we still want to hear your feedback. So it's almost like you guys are going to decide the direction of Hinterview. So what tool you want, what would you need right now? So if you need something next month and you're like, I wish Hinterview had this, you write into product, it's going to end up in the product meeting, and they're going to make the decision of like, can we do this? How fast can we turn it around? So like we just brought out like virtual backgrounds 2.0. So like that one's an even like more improved like process there. We just brought out an integration with Teams, because we heard that some people really liked using Teams as well when using interviewing their candidates, but they wanted to upload that into Interview. So that was like a really quick one they were able to turn around for people. So my question to you is, if you were on the product team of Hinterview, what would you do? Like, let's say you had all the time, all the money in the world, what product would you want to see from us next month?
I definitely would have said the integration with Teams, because for future interviews and things, once we start doing that. But I think we're still very early on in like the use of it at Conspicuous, because it's really just me and Lucy are the main people that use it. So for us, it's kind of, we're still getting to grips of, we use it on candidate side, but we want to be using it more on the client side, specifically for follow-ups and for targeting candidates. When we, you know, at the moment what I do is, if there's a head role come up or a really senior role that's very different, and for sort of a high-level candidate who will be getting 1 million messages a day, I'll just film a video, keep it fresh. But I think, I don't know, because we're quite early still.
Because for us, this is like, Hinterview is so high tech to what we've previously
Yeah.
sort of had.
Yeah.
So like we're in awe, like oh my god,
phone
we got
and a
this,
YouTube
we
link.
got that. Like
So-
do you know what I mean? But like I feel like for us, like getting to grips with it, but like the whole interactiveness of when you like send a video and you've got all your little widgets at the bottom. Are they called widgets? I don't know. Icons. I don't
Yeah,
know. That you
yeah.
can
Your
click
business
on.
card?
So that's it.
Yeah,
On your
yeah.
business card, they can contact you. They can do this. And I think all of that stuff, obviously, as time goes on, things will probably improve. But at the moment in time, it's like a whole new world to us where we're like, we probably will eventually think, oh, maybe we could do that. But
Yeah.
at the moment, it sort of does more than we ever wanted it to ask for as such. So it's been really good. But I don't know, we'll have to have a think about that.
Yeah,
See if there's
please.
anything for
Yeah,
sure.
we will have a think.
That would be really good, really good. But
Yeah, so I guess unless we have any other
we
questions.
do, and it's actually a really difficult one, like
Oh.
a good challenge.
Okay.
So thank you, Daniel.
Oh, no.
It's fine. But so it says, I'm not sure that it is a usable solution yet, or maybe it is. But is there AI in video tech in regard to extracting important / usable data from a video, CV, or interview, i.e., with AI software automatically extracts the data it extracts the data from someone talking through a video. The recruiter isn't needed to screen the actual video, but deals with data generated from that video.
Ooh, I see. So like,
yeah.
what I'm getting from it is that the candidate would maybe use, we have a feature called hire, so maybe the candidate would apply with the video and then they would just take the information out of it
Oh yeah.
and give a
that's-
summary of the most important
bits.
bits.
Yeah, I think this was mentioned in our best practice yesterday.
And I
Okay.
think it is becoming a thing.
Yeah.
Like
What was it called? It was autopilot.
Autopilot. So
Yeah.
every single, oh god, this is going to test us from our knowledge yesterday. I left the meeting early, so if I'm wrong, but and with every autopilot, I feel like things are going to start integrating with AI for every single one to be able to do such
Yeah.
a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was actually briefly brushed over that something like that is probably going to become a thing. We had all of our not all of our teams, sorry, 5 of our team fly out to the US.
Yeah.
And at the conferences, they said it was literally like,
Microsoft were really
Like-
pushing this sort of particular thing, which
Yeah.
sounds
It's just
exactly like what he's
yeah,
saying.
and
Yeah.
it's just going to grow and grow. And the technology, I appreciate, because I think you used to do tech recruitment, didn't you?
Mhm.
Yeah. So at this moment in time, because it might sound foreign to some people, but there is going to be a huge push on certain solutions and these autopilots, and they've got such big plans for them that
Maybe
AI
Hinterview
is going to
will
be into
have it in their thing in the
you
future.
might have an
We will.
autopilot.
Maybe
soon,
already
who
on
knows?
it.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a good move for like volume recruitment, right? Like if you're busy, like you've gotten loads you have to review, sitting there watching possibly like 10 to 15 minute videos if you didn't put a time limit on it.
Yeah.
That's one
Yeah.
side. But I think what we have right now, which is not an autopilot, but the ability to put like bookmarks in your
Yeah.
videos, I think is so helpful.
Yeah.
That if someone's watching your video back and they just like don't really care about all of the questions you asked your candidate, but are maybe like
Oh,
really
that's
looking
good.
at like the main 3. I
Yeah.
don't know. The
It can-
top
yeah.
skills. You can bookmark the thing, so
Yeah.
if you just want to skip to those
Just means you
questions.
can navigate
That's
that way
really
through.
Yeah, so that
yeah.
was manual,
Mhm.
but I think if it was
Well, you can do it,
automated-
yeah. When you're doing the actual interview, you can hit the space bar and it will create the bookmark.
That's amazing. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I like
For
that.
sure. But I guess we don't really know the direction it's going to go in. However, from talks of those conferences, Daniel, I would say it is heading in a way that will somehow be possible. I don't know the ins and outs, but somehow it will be possible. But yeah, I don't know whether there are any other questions just before we sign off. At this moment in time, there isn't.
Thanks everyone for watching. Obviously we covered quite a lot about Hintro and like videos in recruitment in general. So thank you both so much for joining our
it's so
podcast.
interesting
having
to
us.
hear.
Thanks for having
Hopefully
us.
more people will, have an insight into where this tech's going and why it's so
Yeah.
important now. Because I think
And
it's
any
huge.
questions, drop me or Lucy or Phoebe or Alicia any questions that you have, and we'll be happy to answer them. And thank you all so much for listening / watching.
Thank you. Bye.
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 Bye.